Welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into the iconic world of Bratz. You know, those bold, edgy fashion dolls that took the world by storm in the early 2000s. But how did they go from just a concept to a global phenomenon? Well, let's rewind and take it to the late 90s and let's find out. Alright, picture this. It's 1999 and Carter Bryant, which he is the creator of Bratz, it was a freelance designer, feeling incomplete, uninspired at his job at Mattel. So he was fed up with Barbie and the company's horrible standards. They wanted Barbie in a box. They didn't want to think outside the box. They didn't want her to be too different. So he just needed some time to think and get inspired again. He wanted something different. So he took a break, went home to live with his parents. One day, while driving past a high school, he seen a group of girls, and something about them just clicked for him. These girls were bratty, but in the best possible way. Their attitude, their bold style, their wild hair inspired Carter to create something new, something fresh. That night, he went home, grabbed his sketchbook, and started drawing the first versions for the very first Bratz dolls, Yasmin, Jade, Chloe, and Sasha. But at the time, they didn't have those names. The first designs included characters like Zoe, Lupe, and Holiday. Zoe was Chloe, Lupe was Yasmin, and Holiday was Sasha. Jade was the only one to keep the original name. So he had these designs for a while. You know, he put them away. He was like, I don't know. Then he later on went back to Mattel. He had these drawings for about a year or so and just didn't do anything with the designs. Mind you, at the time, he was not working for Mattel. He was on a leave of absence. They weren't paying him. He was a freelance doll designer. So he wasn't really bound to any contract. Just keep that in mind. Fast forward to early 2000. Carter was technically still working at Mattel when he came across the old sketches of the Bratz. So he decided he wanted to show his designs to a brand new company, MGA Entertainment. His friend who worked for Mattel but now works with MGA invited him. The reaction, Isaac Larian, the CEO of MGA, wasn't sold. He thought they looked like aliens, ugly. But then Isaac's 11-year-old daughter, Jasmine, stepped in and said, I think they're really cute. That was a game changer. If she did not say that they were cute, we would not have Bratz dolls. So I thank you, Jasmine, for that because I love Bratz dolls. Isaac was convinced. And by October of 2000, Carter signed a contract with MGA to design the dolls. They wanted to change the names. Like I said, Zoe became Chloe, Lupe became Yasmin. They changed it to name after Isaac's daughter. And Holiday was changed to Sasha. Like I said, Jade was the only one that kept her name. It was easier for them to copyright the names. And I like it. The first official Bratz were born. The original set of dolls. But they were called originally Cool Bratz because they were cool. Now, it's 2001. The dolls have been having so much setbacks. The dolls hit the shelves. But at first, they weren't selling well. But by the holiday season, they were flying off the shelves. People were obsessed. Bratz were an official thing. By 2002, they were one of the top selling dolls in the market. They dominated the market. They won so many awards for Toy of the Year. And y'all know there's someone that doesn't like that. We're going to get into that. But of course, there was controversy, was never far behind. Some retailers only wanted to buy Chloe, the white doll, because, well, at the time, there was a very much of a lack of diversity in the toy industry. Now we know today it's very much different. If a line is not diverse, people will come for those companies. Isaac Larian, the king that he is, he wasn't having it at all. He told retailers, either you buy all the dolls or buy none. And that was a game changer for the toy industry. A big move for diversity. And that's honestly why I love Isaac Larian so much, because he's like, no, you're going to buy all of them? You ain't going to buy anything. And, brats were becoming more of a thing. So companies caved in and retailers caved in and bought all the brats. But of course, there was controversy, was never far behind. By 2003, Mattel was not happy. They weren't happy much about sharing the toy market with MGA. MGA was grabbing all of the shared space with Bratz, so they decided, we're gonna beat these girlies. We don't want to share the industry. So they created their own doll line, My Scene. And guys, if it wasn't clear, they were trying to copy Bratz. Like, the similarities are insane. Like, Barbara, what are you doing over there, girl? Come up with something new. Mattel was not done. In 2004, they figured out that Carter Bryant violated his contract when he pitched the idea for Bratz. He came back, worked for Mattel for a little bit, then pitched the idea while he was still working at Mattel. Well, he pitched the idea to MGA. Well, this legal battle lasted for years. For years. Mattel claimed that the sketchbook and the pencil, and even they went by the graphic of the paper, they were trying to argue that it was Mattel supplies. But like I said earlier, he wasn't technically working for them. He was a freelance doll designer at the time. So, but, Mattel, I don't know how, but they manifested it for themselves. And in 2008, the court ruled that in Mattel's favor, ordering MGA to stop selling Bratz. But there's a twist. MGA did not give up. They did not give up. They got the case reopened in 2010, and at this time, MGA won. The jury found that Mattel has stolen trade secrets from MGA to create their My Scene dolls. They would sneak into Toy Fair, they would sneak into the Bratz, and for example, one of the Winter Wonderland dolls Bratz had, and then a couple months later, My Scene had a winter theme. They had this whole program of stealing stuff from MGA, and MGA found out, and the girls were kind of mad. They were like, what is going on? So they took them to court, and they found evidence, and Mattel had to pay a massive $310 million in damages, costing MGA so much money. By then, Bratz has already changed the game. They kept evolving, and that's what was one of the reasons why Mattel was struggling so much with Barbie, because Bratz had the Bratz boys, the Bratz babies. They had little Bratz. They even came out with the Bratz movie, Rock Angel. Rock Angels was their first movie in 2005. They had a TV show. they just had massive, massive success. And Barbie couldn't handle it. And they were trying to beat them. And at the end, they kind of show how Barbie is the evil ice queen. It was referenced in this book, You Don't Own Me. It's a really good book. And the author references a lot that Barbie is an ice queen. And, Bratz had this massive, massive change in the market. But when they got the rights back to making Bratz, they thought of newer dolls that, people liked and disliked. Like, for example, the taller Bratz. People were not too happy about them in 2013. I seen them and I was like, ooh. They just look so weird. I'm glad they got rid of those. I don't know what they were thinking. Bratz had this massive impact. They took a little break, and in 2015, they came back with a newer look. Hello, my name is line. I personally love them. I think they're cute. They didn't hit hard as the originals did. But everyone disliked them. At the time, this is 2015, everyone was about cell phones and selfies and all this crazy wild stuff that the dolls are wearing. That's the one thing about Bratz is they kept up with trends from that time period. And a lot of people were wearing that kind of stuff. And I honestly like them. Like I said, a lot of people didn't like them because they're like, oh, their shoes are too big and their heads are too big. It just looks weird. And, I can kind of see it, but at the same time, I really liked the 2015 Bratz. But then they stopped producing them. And in 2021, the Bratz turned 20. And they brought back the classics. Now, we're in 2025. Bratz are back and better than ever. They have released new lines like Always Bratz, Going Out, the Scorching line. They're coming out with new versions of the Fashion Pixies. And don't even get me started on the reproductions. The reproductions. I love all the reproductions. I know some people are not a fan of the reproductions. But personally, if I can get the reproductions instead of getting the actual doll secondhand, it's a lot cheaper, and I know the doll is new. I don't know, it's I don't have to scrub her down and make sure she doesn't smell or anything. You know what I mean? They're just oh my god, Bratz are just so awesome, and they're catering to their older fans and collectors, which Barbie, she can't compete right now with that. I don't know what's going on there, and Mattel. The only thing that Mattel got going for them was that Barbie movie that happened a couple of years ago. That was the only thing that boosted Barbie back up. But other than that, I really see Bratz just dominating the market, especially for people that are older, in their 20s like me, that grew up with Bratz. Buying shot glasses, makeup. They're coming out with designer stuff, purses, shoes, all of this merchandise catering to their audience. That is one thing that MGA, and this is the one thing I will praise MGA for to the dawn of time, is they know how to cater to the audience. They keep up with trends. They know what looks good. They give us what we want. They give fans what we want. The quality is there. The doll is on point. Sometimes there's little flaws, oh, her eye looks too weird, or, other things like that. But that's what it is to work in massive productions. They're giving us what our money's worth. For example, the Clueless dolls. Barbie is charging $60 for this cheap looking Clueless dolls. Bratz, they had an extra character, $70. But you get an outfit, you get an extra outfit, shoes, and you get accessories with the doll, and the packaging is amazing. MGA will never, ever, ever stop impressing me. This is why MGA is superior, in my opinion. I love MGA. You know, yes, do they have flaws? Of course. Like, what company doesn't have flaws? It's a company, billion-dollar company. But, you know, we had problems with the Mean Girl dolls. We all remember that. They're trying to change it, and I really hope they have it where you can pre-order the dolls. I don't personally like Clueless. It is a really good movie, but if I can pre-order the dolls, I feel like I would get more like appreciation for the movie, if that makes sense. I know this is like a little rant, but personally, Bratz had such a huge impact in my childhood. They were so different from Barbie, diverse, edgy. They were just so cool. They gave me dolls that I could relate to and I can look like. Like, for example, Jade. I love her so much. I love Jade. I loved her style. I liked how she was in the show. And I loved her hair. I love black hair. You know, I thought she was so cool. And honestly, I'm so glad that we're getting them now. And they're just so freaking cool. So, what do you guys think? Are you a fan of Bratz too? Please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And follow me on Instagram at Purple Moose Dolls for more doll content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.